The Sacramento Kings are waiving DeMar DeRozan, making the six-time All-Star one of the top free agent sources tell ESPN. The sides work I have a hard time saying that word. I don't know why. On this resolution after exploring trade routes. But let me throw a little bit more detail. Unrestricted free agent, but they did have failed trade attempts. He was averaging 18.4 and started 77 games last season for the struggling Kings, who only had 22 wins last season, who are rebuilding and over the first apron. You talked about the second apron and what we just talked about. Only $10 million of his $25.7 million final year salary was guaranteed. The move frees up cap space for Sacramento while opening opportunities for contenders. Early fan speculation points to strong interest from Toronto Raptors for a homecoming, plus teams like the Lakers, Knicks, and the Heat. Let's go over that apron, right? So you mentioned apron before, but let's give a quick, simple terms what the apron means for those that don't know what you're talking about earlier, Matthew. Think of apron as an NBA has a salary budget like a team spending limit. The first apron is an extra high spending line above the normal limit. If a team goes over the first apron, which you get into the second apron, they lose big tools for adding players like signing good free agents easily or making certain trades. So by waiving DeRozan, the Kings avoided going over that line so they can still sign and trade more freely. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, DeRozan's still a great player on offense. I mean, you don't want him being your best player, which he arguably was on the Kings last year. I mean, I think there's a case that it was Keegan Murray, even though Keegan Murray was injured most of the year. There was a case in a lot of the games that it was my boy Westbrook. But, I mean, in terms of your most consistent go-get-a-bucket guy for the Kings last year, it was definitely DeMar DeRozan. And so at this stage of his career, it's probably worth more for him to compete for a championship than to be the best player on the worst team in the league or one of the worst teams in the league in the Sacramento Kings. So you got to pair him carefully. Because he's not a three-point shooter. And so if your center's not a three-point shooter, then you're always going to have at least two players that aren't shooters. And I know everybody likes, pace and space in this day and age. But, you bring in Kawhi in Toronto. I'm thinking of Toronto right now. If you want to do the homecoming with DeMar, you got Kawhi at the small forward. Mm-hmm. You got RJ Barrett there. I think they still have Barrett. I think he might get traded though. Quickly at point guard. I mean, you got some guys that are okay. They're not you're not beating the world with this lineup, but Quickly gave you 16 and 6 on 44 and 37 last year. Jamal Shed, your backup point guard, was one of the best defenders in the league. But anyway, you get your stars. You get Kawhi at small forward, and you get Scotty Barnes at the 4. Yeah. And everybody knows how versatile and how good of a playmaker and how good of a defender Scotty Barnes is. And everybody knows how versatile and how good of a defender and how good of a shooter Kawhi Leonard is. And so you run this.
And let me say this real quick, Matthew. If that what reunion was to happen with Kawhi, DeMar DeRozan, remember Kyle Lowry was on that team, right? Did you know, real quick, and I'm going to let you get back on point. Did you know he's about to do, I forgot why he's doing it. He's doing a one-day signing, and then he's going to retire.
Yeah, that makes sense. He's a legend for the Raptors. He won a chip with them. Yeah. But what I would say is it's potent defensively. I mean, you got Kawhi, you got Scotty Barnes, you got Jamal Shed, you got what was this one I'm looking at? Oh, Colin Murray Boyles. I forget about Colin Murray Boyles. People forget about him because he came on so late in the year. So I was looking for him on the stat sheet, and he was so far near the bottom, but he came on near the end of the year. He was a good defender all year. Then he started having some games in the playoffs, Colin Murray Boyles, where, I mean, this guy is a potential star, a potential two-way star out of South Carolina. And so anyway, what I'm trying to get at here is you have so many of these guys that are great defensive players, but especially in the case of, like Scotty Barnes, it hasn't fully, he's a good playmaker on the other side of the ball, but he's not like a complete offensive player. CMB, Colin Murray Boyles, not a complete offensive player. Right. Jamal Shed gives me the kind of vibes that he's never fully going to be an offensive weapon. He's going to be like that Roberson or Matisse Thybulle type where, they'll play some junkyard dog defense, but they never quite have it together on offense. So you put a DeMar DeRozan on a team like that, and it's a security blanket, a guy that's going to go out, play 25 minutes a night for you, and go get you a bucket when nobody's scoring because, you're going to hold a lot of teams to under 100 points with those kind of defenders. But I think you might need a little more firepower. I don't know if DeMar would come off the bench, and I don't know that there's a role for him in the starting lineup, but there's definitely minutes for him on that team. And I'm looking at who's gone and who's staying. Like, there's definitely 25 minutes a game for DeMar DeRozan on that team. So whether that's off the bench or starting, I don't know because he's not going to start. Scotty Barnes is going to be locked in at the 4, and Kawhi is going to be locked in at the 3. So, I don't know that there's room for him in the starting lineup unless he's playing at the 2, where currently you would imagine RJ Barrett would be filling that role. So TBD. But I think he would fit in nicely with the Raptors. And everybody knows, that's where he spent most of his career. That's where his jersey will be retired one day. He will have to patch things up with Drake, though. That'll be the one thing.
Oh, man. I forgot all about that whole Drake thing.
Mm-hmm.
and listen, and I also looked it up also. So another reason why Larry is just going to play one game. If he plays one game and then retires, he'll still, if they go on and win a championship, then he'll get a championship ring as well. Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. That's crazy, man. The play one game, retire just so you can get a championship ring. I know that's why he's doing it, man. But I don't know, man. Are you really considered a champion if that's the way you win?
Well, I don't know that, a lot of guys sign one-day contracts with their historic teams, championship or no championship. I think he just wants to, officially close it out as a Raptor.